Good morning, John. How are you?
I'm doing well, Sully. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. No problem. Kind of a yearly conversation between the two of us, and happy to promote Chuck's 3-on-3 basketball tournament. I guess give us a little bit background on this. It's been going on for a while, but remind our listeners what this tournament's all about.
Sure, absolutely. The tournament is in honor of my father, Jon Cakert. Chuck grew up in the Atlantic City area, and him and his brothers and his sisters were, a local and certainly formed a bond within the community. And my father's unfortunate passing in 1989 kind of brought forth this idea to honor him in a way down here in Ventnor that we thought he would be most honored to participate in it himself if he were around, which is a basketball tournament. So since 1989, we've been holding the event yearly, every summer, and it's grown from 20 teams in its initial year to we've topped out as many as mid 80s in recent years. So it's become a real staple, as you said, for the community, and sort of marking the end of the summer and getting an event to get all these folks together and participate in some good fun basketball. We've really enjoyed being a part of it, and the volunteer community has really gravitated towards it the last almost 30 years now. So we're very proud of it.
By the way, I finally pronounced your last name correctly.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Only took a year for me to get it right.
Not a problem.
Tell us about this tournament. Obviously, it's all different age groups. How is it run? How do you incorporate all these different ages and teams? And it's got to be a lot in terms of organizational meetings and plannings. When do you guys really start getting going on organizing? Is it pretty much the day after this year's you'll be working on next year's?
Sort of. So my co-director and I, my cousin Douglas, it is definitely a year-long conversation that we are continually having. As you can imagine, the day after the tournament, we certainly we clear it from our minds and take a little break. But not soon after that, we start thinking about the following year. And so as you mentioned, it is for all ages and all genders. So each tournament each year sort of breeds itself for the demand. So as I said, it's been growing ever since its inception, and our expectations for this year are as high as ever. So we appreciate the word of mouth because that's the best way it spreads, and we get a lot of return players from year to year. And those players, it's interesting to see the ebb and flow of the participation, because those players, start in the youngest division, the biddy division, which is 5th grade and under, and they hopefully rise through the divisions over the years and continue to play all the way through our high school division, and then ultimately, if they are still playing basketball as an adult, they'll enter into the intermediate or the open division, which are the 2 adult divisions. And each year, as we start to compile the teams that register, we are always willing to create a division to fit the need of those who participate. So, for instance, we get a good amount of both boys and girls teams, and certainly in the student divisions. We will have we'll have separate divisions for the girls, and let them compete with the area teams that come from all over the state.
Talking with Jon Cakert, who is one of the guys running the Chuck's 3-on-3 basketball tournament next weekend in Ventnor. John, I guess you see the same names a lot from year to year. Anybody that really made a big splash on the high school level that maybe started out in this tournament as a 4th, 5th, 6th grader?
Yes, as my generation, I was the youngest. The youngest participant was Doug on my team, and beginning. So my generation of folks coming up all the way through high school, we really got an opportunity to see those players grow and continue on to the high school and finally the college level. Some more distinct names are Wayne Nelson and Torrey Cavalieri have been a staple in the tournament for many years. I think Torrey has probably the most championships from across all divisions as anybody who's played. We've had former professional players play in it all the way back. Lou Rowe, if you remember from his heydays in Atlantic City High School and then UMass and following to the Detroit Pistons. More recently, we've had Dennis Horner play, who's gone on to play at NC State University and finally for the New Jersey Nets and then overseas. Certainly Scott Greeman, who's been was a standout player at St. Augustine Prep. We've had several female players go on and make their mark. Jen Daniels and Shawn McLaughlin, who both played in college. There's been quite a number of players, actually, and a whole slew of standout players from Atlantic City High School and Holy Spirit.
You probably need a whole separate division just for the McLaughlins, right?
They did come through with a number of teams from year to year.
For those who don't know, I believe there's 12 McLaughlins out of Linwood.
It's over 10.
Yeah, and a lot of them played high school basketball for Mainland. Sean was actually an outstanding player. Matt played for the high school team a couple years ago. So great athletic basketball family. I guess you see that at this tournament from year to year. Family members, you might see a kid one year and then see the younger brother or younger sister the next year. That's kind of a neat thing about this event, right? You get to see families evolve from year to year.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it starts out when you have 3 or 4 teams and in each division, and each one of them has a sibling, and then they rise up to the high school, and sometimes that eldest sibling starts becoming the coach, and then they their involvement leads them to become a volunteer in the tournament, and it's sort of it's a very close knit group of people that really make this tournament work, and it's not just the volunteers that really work on the behind the scenes of the tournament. It's the folks who are out front and who are participating and also helping by monitor games and keeping score. We love to see the return faces.
John, for somebody who might be listening now and thinking, oh man, this is a really cool thing, I'd like to get involved, how can somebody get a team in? Obviously they have to get that done today or tomorrow. What's the best way for them to go about getting involved?
Well, our entry deadline is on Monday. We go for the full day. We try to get as many teams as we can allow. So the quickest vessel for that is to visit us on our website, which is www.chucks3on3.com, and there you'll find all the information you need, a registration form for this year, and also some contact information if someone were to not be able to participate or and would like to help volunteer or make a donation to the charity. We highly encourage that. That information can be found again at www.chucks3on3.com, also on our Facebook page. And if you just want to come out and watch some good basketball for an entire day and on Saturday and the championship rounds on Sunday, we just encourage you to come out to the tournament. There's certainly no need to sign up to volunteer. We can accept any and all help the day of the tournament.
Now, where exactly are the games played?
The games this year we played at the Ventnor Educational Community Complex, the Ventnor School in the western port of Ventnor, and we've held it there for quite a number of years. We've had some alternate locations around the year, but that's basically our home court. That's where we like to operate, and the city of Ventnor is very generous in their use of the facilities, and we'd like to thank them for their help as well.
Now, what's the format? How do the teams play? Games up to 11, 15? How's the scoring go?
Well, each division has its own totality of score. It's all dependent on a formula that we've kind of generated for over the years, and it's kind of the duration of a game. Our expectations. Each game usually takes somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes. But for instance, the high school division plays to 24. And it's all by 2s and 3s. So it's 2s and 3s, and it's losers out, which means that one team scores and the other team will get the ball in the next possession. You have to win by 4 for the game to end, and it goes all the way to a straight 30 points in the instance that no team is ahead by 4. That might be a bit of an understatement of the complexity of it, but basically just score as many points as you can until we tell you to stop.
There you go. What, John, real quick before we let you go, what kind of crowd do you usually get on the final day and in some of the finals of these games? I'm sure it's a pretty good draw for basketball fans throughout the area.
Yeah, absolutely. The ebb and flow of the spectators certainly depends on the division. We get a terrific turnout for some of the younger divisions, certainly because there's a lot more family and parents and younger siblings that come to watch their own siblings play. But specifically to the top tier of basketball, our open division, which is our most competitive, we get a tremendous amount of fans out there on Sunday who just want to see the best play against the best and see who walks away with the bragging rights for that year.
John, how does it compare to the movie Above the Rim?
There's not quite as much. There's not quite as much surrounding violence, but it's certainly the games sometimes get a little physical, and it's exciting to see. But the competition is there for sure, and as we mentioned, these guys have been playing each other in every level of competition in the South Jersey area for as long as they've been playing basketball. So
yeah, I'm sure you get some pretty good rivalries from year to year, right?
Yeah, everyone kind of knows each other, and everyone kind of goes at it with friendship in mind, but bragging rights is the real takeaway.
Good stuff, John. I appreciate you taking a few minutes and letting us know. Once again, if anybody wants to sign up, go to chucks3on3.com. Is that the right address?
That's correct. Yep.
chucks3on3.com for more information. John, appreciate you taking a few minutes, and good luck next weekend. Hope you have a great tournament.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
That was Jon Cakert, one of the guys who runs the Chucks 3-on-3 basketball tournament next weekend in Ventnor, Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to register, go to chucks3on3.com before Monday and get your team signed up for that.